Judging by the 19th century dress, Polixeni's immigrant must have lived a long time ago, like people in old photographs. But her flight path from some troubled country to Australia has been followed by thousands of people and still extends fragile hope to so many who need a new home. The lady seems almost washed up by the angry water beneath those inclement skies. It's a miracle that she can sit upright on the beach. She might have been tossed backward by the treacherous undertow, but made it to shore like flotsam. Her harrowing memories from a perilous journey by sea may be receding, but that welcome light that comes through the wild clouds illuminates internal feelings that are just as turbulent as the weather. In her Lost Psyche series, Polixeni created emblematic figures who've come to the end of their tradition, their rationale, their place in the world. They're not especially sad figures because they don't narrate their own stories so much as a history or an archetypical condition. The works aren't anecdotal. Polixeni's theatre is symbolic, and her actors, Olympia and Solomon, are cast beyond an immediate reality. They wear period half-masks made of paper and are dressed with flamboyancy, often with something of the clown, the entertainer, the poet, the exile, the people who suddenly occupy a space in the mind and persist in the psyche even though, in reality, they're now long gone. Polixeni returned to elements of her own artistic practice that she'd set aside for a period of tackling the Australian landscape. She went back into the studio, not only to her collection of Victorian masks and theatrical costumes, but to other horizons of an illusionistic world in paint, where time, climate and space are directed and realised by artifice. With the production of scenic backdrops, slowing down the process of making each work, Polixeni reflected a lot on what she wanted from each work. She brings to the illusionistic sites a whole speculative mystery of ancient roles and that enjoy a faint and touching afterlife. Somewhere in the contemporary world we may also entertain the inner poet, the troubadour, the clown, the connoisseur, the dispossessed. They're all souls of divided emotion who converge on a stage that acknowledges their aesthetic past. Still wearing her fussy Victorian morning dress, the immigrant contemplates the story of migration in history, where the idea of migration, even for the dispossessed, still holds the promise of new beginnings. The unsettled background makes everything look fragile, and even if the lady is in mourning, it isn't hard to imagine that her family has perished somewhere along the way. But the immigrant is then absorbed into the new country and perhaps has a family that scarcely knows the experience of the former life, the old language, the streets, the foods and ways of cooking them, the habits of conversation in the piazza. They become lost in the impatient, automotive, globalised world, and with them some unrecoverable part of the psyche where people thought in a different way.